You ever meet someone so entitled they actually believe your property is just theirs to use whenever they please? Well, that's exactly what happened to me. A neighbor, we'll call her Karen because, well, she earns the name, decided that my backyard pool wasn't mine at all. According to her, it was the perfect community resource for her daughter's sweet 16 party. She didn't ask. She demanded. And when I refused, she tried to strong-arm me with the HOA, so I did the one thing she never expected. I drained the pool completely dry. Right before her big day, what followed was a meltdown so spectacular, people in the neighborhood still talk about it. I bought my house 3 years ago, after a long grind of saving and finally breaking away from renting. The selling point wasn't the kitchen, or the big garage, or even the quiet cul-de-sac. It was the backyard, a wide stretch of green lawn, high privacy fencing, and most importantly, a sparkling, in-ground pool. I'd always dreamed of having a pool, not for big parties, not for neighborhood cookouts, but for me. I'm a quiet guy, more of a bookhand lemonade, by the water type. That pool was my retreat after long shifts at work, a place where I could float on my back under the stars and let the world disappear. But, of course, it wasn't long before word got out that the new guy had a pool. And if you've ever lived near a Karen, you know how that story goes. It started one Saturday morning. I was skimming leaves from the pool when I heard the sharp click of heels coming down my driveway. Then came the knock on the side gate, 3 raps. Fast. Impatient. I peeked around and there she was. A woman in oversized sunglasses, blonde hair sprayed into a helmet, and that thin-lipped smile that says, "I'm not asking you anything." "Telling you must be the new neighbor," she said. "I'm Karen. I'm head of the social committee for the HOA. I nodded. I already didn't like the sound of this. She leaned against the gate like she owned it. "Listen," I heard. "You've got a pool. It's great because my daughter's 16th is coming up and we'll need the space. The community center is booked, and really everyone knows backyard parties are more fun. So we'll be setting up here next Saturday." I blinked. "Excuse me?" Karen sighed as though I was the one being unreasonable. "The pool, sweetie. We'll need it. We're inviting about 40 guests, a DJ, catering, decorations. Don't worry, we'll clean up afterward." I nearly laughed in her face. "Yeah, that's not happening. My pool isn't for rent. I have 40 people in my yard? Absolutely not." Her smile vanished. "You'll want to rethink that. The HOA takes community cooperation very seriously." I closed the gate on her before she could finish. Most sane people, after being told no, would move on, not Karen. The next day I found a flyer stuffed under my door. Community celebration. Sweet 16 pool party at my address. Everyone welcome. She had actually printed invitations with my address on them and handed them out. I stormed over to her place. "Take my address off those flyers." Karen didn't even flinch. "Oh, relax. The HOA will cover any damages. And besides, it's not like you'll even be using the pool that day. You should be happy to contribute." I stared at her, stunned. "You don't get to decide what happens on my property." Her eyes narrowed. "You'll regret saying no." "Sure." Enough. By Monday, I got an official-looking letter from the HOA, demanding I make my pool available for community use under social committee scheduling. Now, I'd read the HOA bylaws when I moved in. They covered things like lawn height, trash bin storage, exterior paint colors, annoying stuff. But nowhere did it say anything about personal pools being public property. I wrote back, "Private property denied. Any further harassment will be reported." The HOA president later admitted to me that Karen pressured them to send the letter. She'd been nagging them for years about turning neighbors' amenities into community resources. I was just her newest target. By Thursday, the situation had boiled over. I saw rental trucks pull into Karen's driveway, folding tables, balloons, even a hired sound system. She was actually planning to march her mob into my backyard. That's when the idea hit me. If she wanted a pool party so badly, she could have one. Just not in my pool. Friday night, after the sun went down, I rolled out the submersible pump and 100 feet of hose. By morning, my pool was empty, bone dry. Saturday arrived. Around noon, cars started lining the street. teenagers in swimsuits, wandered up my driveway, towels over their shoulders, following the sound of music blasting from Karen's yard, and then came the moment of truth. Karen marched up with a megaphone, sunglasses glinting, barking orders like a drill sergeant. "Okay, everyone, head straight through this gate. The pool is ready." She threw open my gate, and a crowd surged in, only to be met with the sight of a deep, empty pit where the water used to be. The silence was delicious. One kid muttered, "Where's the pool?" Another whispered, "Did it evaporate?" Karen's face turned beet red. She whirled on me, fists clenched. "What did you do?" I leaned on the fence, sipping iced tea. "That pool? Yeah, it's private property. Didn't want any accidents. Liability issues, you know." "You ruined my daughter's birthday," she screeched. I shrugged. "Wasn't my party to ruin? Karen lost it." She screamed, stomped her heels, even threw her sunglasses into the dirt. Her daughter burst into tears. Guests started whispering. Parents grabbed their kids, and within 10 minutes, half the crowd had left. Desperate, Karen tried to salvage it by turning her own backyard into the party zone. But she didn't have the space, and people weren't in the mood anymore. The DJ packed up early. Catering sat untouched. By nightfall, her big event was a total flop, and the whole neighborhood knew why. Of course, Karen didn't let it go quietly. She filed a formal complaint with the HOA, claiming I had sabotaged her event and created a public nuisance. But when the board reviewed the case, they sided with me. I'd broken no rules. My pool, my choice. If anything, she was in hot water for distributing flyers with my address on them without permission. Her reputation took a hit, too. For months afterward, people joked about the phantom pool party. Parents started avoiding her. Even her daughter wouldn't look at her in public. As for me, I refilled the pool at my own pace, added a new lock to the gate, and enjoyed the peace of floating under the stars again. The sweetest part wasn't just that I stood my ground. It was watching Karen realize she couldn't control everything. She'd planned the perfect Instagram-worthy bash, only to be humiliated in front of the very people she wanted to impress. Sometimes, the best way to deal with an entitled person isn't shouting or fighting or even calling the cops. Sometimes it's as simple as turning off the tap. And every summer since, when I take my first dive into the cool water, I remember the look on her face that day, that mix of disbelief, rage, and pure meltdown. It makes the water feel just a little sweeter. This story is just the beginning. There is so much more ahead. Subscribe to the channel to join me on this journey.